Welcome to the store. Welcome to another exciting episode of Video Store Clerks. We are your clerks. I'm Dave.
Jamming.
I'm Chuck.
And tonight, we honor.
One of the greatest. One of the greatest fucking actors of all time. He's Clint Eastwood. He's Jack Nicholson. He's all of them, man. He's just as good as all those guys. He's a badass. He's a great fucking actor. And he's one of my favorites. Fucking Lance Henriksen night tonight on the fucking video store, motherfuckers.
It is Lance Henriksen tonight. Perhaps one of the most versatile, hardworking, workhorse actors in all of sci-fi and horror for the past couple decades. We give you Lance Henriksen night. That's what we're doing. This is Video Store Clerks.
It's not a legacy I want to leave behind, but I am Chuck Nasty.
How the fuck am I out of whiskey already? This shit can't be any fucking good.
Welcome to the store.
Thank you. You all are too kind. Welcome once again to the store. Welcome once again to the Video Store Clerks podcast. I have no idea what I'm going to pick, except for my number one. I know my number one. My number one was picked for me the other day.
Yeah. I think we'll all be agreeing on that one.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think that might be our number ones again, but that's okay. I really have a feeling we're just going to talk about a bunch of Lance Henriksen movies tonight, and I'm okay with that.
Me too.
I've got to say, we have mentioned Lance Henriksen so many fucking times in this show. The fact that we finally have an episode dedicated to this man is fucking great to me. I have been enthralled with his career since I was very young. It didn't start out with Bishop, actually. I can't really remember who it started out with. What character really? It might have actually been his character in Hard Target. But there's just something about you have your Clint Eastwoods, you have your badasses. They can be good, they can be bad, and Lance Henriksen, dude, he does it all. I'm a huge fucking fan, dude. He's gonna be at Scarefest in a couple of weeks, and me and my son and my bro Jason are supposed to be going, and I don't know how I'm gonna act if I meet him. I don't know. He's influenced me on so many fucking levels. So it's.
I wish I could be there whenever you're meeting. I want to see Chuck go in donkey mode and be like, sir.
I have to do my best, not to be that guy. It's like, hey man, your voice has influenced me. Honestly, one of the first releases that Bastard Sons put out was Bitterroot, and it's mainly instrumental, but there's a middle part of it where I'm doing a speaking thing, and we were trying to figure out how my voice should sound, and I immediately went with the really low voice and talking like this, and I went Lance Henriksen mode completely.
Wow, you really kind of sounded like him just now.
You could be like, it's a pleasure to meet you. You're the reason why I have throat and lung cancer. Because I was trying to get my voices yours.
I've been, when it comes down to the because I do, I like doing voices and shit like that and impressions. Lance Henriksen is one that I think that I've just about fucking
that's pretty good
mastered. You know what I mean? I was watching fucking Man's Best Friend last night, and I was sitting there doing the voices over and over again. You don't understand. Max isn't like any other dog. Just it's just yes. So yeah, Lance Henriksen, man, he's been in so many fucking movies, over 300 fucking films, TV. I mean, he is the ultimate guy that has been in just about every movie you grew up with, but you never knew his name until you were older. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So yeah, fucking Lance Henriksen.
He's done a lot of work, but he's not one of those actors that's been acting in film and TV since he was 6. He was way older when he got started. I think he was in his 30s.
Yeah.
And he was illiterate until he was in his 30s too. And the only reason he told himself how to read was because he had a part in a play. You know, he's a guy that got dealt a really shitty hand in life when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But look at what he made out of it.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
a horror icon.
Not just a horror icon. A horror icon. I mean, he's a horror icon. He's a sci-fi icon. He's done some great drama.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, he does great. Also, speaking of the drama, real quick, a movie that I haven't seen yet, but I watched clips of earlier that had me in fucking tears was a movie he did with Viggo Mortensen, that Viggo Mortensen wrote and directed and everything, called Fallen. And it's about Lance Henriksen plays a dad who wasn't that good of a guy, and he's losing it. And Viggo Mortensen is his gay son who's trying to take him from certain things, whatever, and try to help him. And Lance Henriksen, dude, like it. Literally, I watched a 5-minute fucking clip earlier, and I'm over here crying like Niagara Falls. Okay, like it's. I'm gonna probably watch it in the next couple of days because I need a good cry. But yeah, Lance Henriksen can do anything, man. He can be a badass. He can make you just sit there like, yeah, man, or he can make you like, God, what a dick. You know, like he's one of the greatest, completely.
And
I'm not a fan or anything.
Oh no, not at all.
You don't say.
He could even be sympathetic. And speaking of sci-fi, horror, and sympathetic good guy, I guess we'll just start with my number 3. I had to go with Aliens.
He's trying to plug the new Chucky tonight.
Oh shit!
I'm totally plugging. I got my new Walmart Chucky shirt here. I've got my Child's Play 3 shot glass in the same photo. I'm very excited about the new season of Chucky.
Y'all got to understand, this whole month for us is kind of a big deal.
Oh yeah, I've had a boner since October 1st. It ain't going down anytime soon.
Mine came up at like September 28th.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, there it is. It's coming around the corner. I can sniff it. It smells it.
No, mine was semi right then, and then it was just like, oh, here it goes. Hey-o.
I'm just wow. Full-fledged.
You said Aliens was your number 3?
Yeah, sorry, we got to talk about Halloween.
Sidetracked.
Well, he had me very many. Look, I can't even fucking talk now. I'm so excited.
We have been planning this for a minute,
right?
Yeah.
Let's check out this famous scene. He had quite a few in this movie. Even his death scene was actually one of the most iconic death scenes in all of sci-fi and horror. But let's take a look at this one. I don't think we can show the death scene. I'm not trying to push my luck with YouTube these days. But let's have a look. Lance Henriksen in Aliens. Bishop, do the thing with the knife.
Hey, Bishop, man. Do the thing with the knife. Please. Come on, man. Come on. Do it, man. This is great. All right, check this out. I don't want to see that, man. Come on, man. All right.
Hey, what are you doing, man? Hey, what are you doing? Come on, quit messing around, Drake. Come on. Bishop, hey, man.
Do it, Bishop.
Hey, not me, man.
Yeah, you.
Hey, come on, quit messing around.
Don't move.
Come on.
Trust me.
Thank you.
You know, they had to reshoot that twice because I've been watching Lance Henriksen interviews nonstop lately. He's so fun to listen to. Like he's just it's the voice. I'm telling you, it's the voice. But he was talking about when they were doing that scene. The first time that they did it, it was way too sped up or whatever, and it looked fake. Lance Henriksen's actually doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And the second time they had to do it, he said him and Bill Paxton and a few other people from the movie had gotten really trashed the night before. And they went out to a bar that, you know, they did the thing that, you know, you kind of figure that actors do. And they went out and partied. And then Lance Henriksen was woken up at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning or some shit. And they're like, hey, we've got to redo that shot. And he was like, God damn it. And so he had to go and fucking redo it. And I think that what you see in the movie is the second shot. And he's actually doing it. He actually nipped Bill Paxton on his pinky. because in his words, the motherfucker moved. and he because he got so freaked out by it because he was doing it, and I would have been the same fucking way. And he moved a little bit and nicked his pinky a little bit. Like, yeah. Fucking
There's
cool.
no doubt in my mind that James Cameron would have him do that for real, just to make it look good.
I think Lance actually was the one that brought up, like, let me do this for real. I think because Lance Henriksen, from what I've gathered, he's really good about like communicating with the directors, and the directors give him a lot of like, you do you, boo boo. You know, you just do whatever you. Because I was watching this interview with him earlier, and it was done last year, and he's talking about this, and a recurring theme with directors is the fact that they're just like, you're good. You just do whatever. Like, you don't even have to read really the script. And a lot of times he doesn't. He improvises, which makes him one of the greats for a reason.
The word I heard all the time from directors that work with him was reliable.
Oh, yeah.
They all said he was like a sure thing and reliable. You can put him in any part. It doesn't matter. And he's just one of those guys that commands the screen like that. He can just take nothing and make it something.
Yeah. I mean, dude, he's been said to been like, he's the most punctual actor. He will spend thousands of dollars on like, okay, here's the role, here's what you need, blah blah, and a movie. I won't mention it right now because we're gonna get into it later on.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
He went above and beyond and spent a shit ton of money with props and what he wore and all that stuff, and he does that with like everything he does. It doesn't matter, and goddamn, I can't praise him enough. Cannot praise him enough. It doesn't matter because let's be honest, some of the films that he's been in are not good. The movie themselves, the plot, whatever, shit. He'll tell you that. Prometheus. But he steals the show every fucking time.
Yeah, his presence 100%. Makes him more tolerable than they should be.
Yeah. Like, he's one of those, like, when he's on the screen, you can't look away. You're like, dude, this guy's just so into it. You know what I mean? Like, you know that he is into that moment. And that's one thing I fucking, God damn it. If I meet him, I'm going to piss myself. Do y'all realize this?
Somebody's got to film it.
Oh, God.
I'm
sure. If it all happens like it's supposed to, I guarantee it's going to be filmed. So, yeah. Because there's quite a few of my really good friends that know that Lance Henriksen is a big deal with me. Like, the motherfucker he's the greatest. He's awesome.
Oh, let's keep going. Which one are you going with, sir? I'm really curious.
It's one I haven't seen in a long time, but I actually watched it earlier, and I was like, yeah, that's dope. It's The Pit and the Pendulum remake.
Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah.
It was, like, I haven't seen that shit since I was fucking probably in middle school or something. I think it came out in like 91.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in so many years either.
Yeah, I went back and watched it. It's a really good yet fucked up movie. Like, he's the lead inquisitor of the church, and they pretty much just fucking pick who's bad and who they think are witches and torture them until they admit their sins.
Yeah.
And then everything comes back whenever he ends up getting someone that he think is she doesn't come off as being a witch, but then later on you kind of realize she has the witch tendencies whenever she's in prison with another witch, and then everything he does to everybody else just comes back on top of him. It's fucking dope though. Like, he's a creepy looking fuck in that movie because he has this weird ass haircut. He looks like a fucking monk, and then just the things he does and shit is just.
Is his hair? Gross. Is his hair cut up like Kane
was?
Like
bald, but then he has like the crown kind of thing. Like
yeah.
But then he has like this little goofy piece of patch right here in the front.
I had to go back and watch it. I haven't watched that one in years. God damn.
It's good, man. Like, there was a couple other actors in it. I think what was the dude's name from Breaking Bad that was in the chair that blew himself up?
Oh, shit. The old dude with the fucking bell?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
God.
He's in it.
Jesus.
Oh, I know who you're talking about though. I can't.
Motherfucker's been on. He's one of those that like
He's
he's one of
another
those
one.
actors
Mhm.
that you could do it. We could do a whole episode on him too. Like honestly, he's been in so many
he's
fucking
in
movies.
everything. But I mean, like today was the very first day I watched it, and for a long time, like probably like I said, middle school. So you're talking 20 couple years.
20 couple of years.
Yeah, like 27. I was trying to downplay it.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're just kind of trying to sound like you're not as old as you are.
Yeah.
Believe me, I get it.
But it's a fucked up movie whenever he actually gets like the big pendulum like knife thing, and he has dude strapped down because he's pretty much in love with the dude's wife. Like he's a
Yeah.
baker, and then he's trying to kill him so he can kind of take over and be with his wife and not feel bad about it. And even though he is the fucking head of the church,
I mean, it's an Edgar Allan Poe story,
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so I mean, like it's
like the original had Vincent Price in it.
yeah. Oh God, why haven't we done that episode yet?
Because that's a lot to cover.
Yeah, because there's not enough days in fucking October.
Yeah, that's what.
I'm gonna say this.
October.
Nah, I love you both. But fuck you. We're gonna do the Vincent Price episode one time. Okay, we have to talk about Vincent Price at some point.
Oh, we
Period.
definitely do.
It'll be the hardest one we've ever fucking done when it comes down to pick threes. But we will do it. God damn it, we will. Anyway,
That's about all I got. I couldn't find scenes for shit on this on anywhere.
yeah,
Like, it was pretty much just the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I saw that movie. God damn, 15 years ago. 15, 16 years ago. And because I went around the time when I like really was sinking my teeth into goddamn honestly, let's say about it, it's probably longer than that. 38. Okay. Well, I was like 16, 17. Whatever the fuck. When I really started sinking my teeth into like Edgar Allan Poe and H.P. Lovecraft and shit like that. Like I remember watching that fucking movie. Unfortunately, I don't remember much about it just because it's been so long ago. That's one I need to go back and rewatch. Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah.
What do you got there for number 3? I know we were all struggling for number 3s. Like I got.
In the words of Lance Henriksen in most of his fucking movies, because there's one word. Well, it's a combination of a word, but he says a certain way, and that's how I felt trying to pick my number 3, and it's God damn it. I'm still trying to figure it out. I really am. Like it's a tough one.
It is tough, man. Like
I have a toss up.
Fucking ridiculous.
I have a toss up. And I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be that guy. I'm that fucking guy. Man's best friend.
Yes.
Big shocker.
Well, Dave was playing with flips, trying to figure out which one to put up first.
Well,
He's like,
because the thing is, because there's another runner here with this. Because I was fighting with this. Our top threes really are fucking hard sometimes.
They really are. It's a cluster.
Man's best friend was one of those where, like, when I saw it, he stood out. Like his character stood out completely.
Yeah, I like that. Like, that was actually one of the ones I was going to pick for my number 3. Like, that's one of my toss-ups.
Dude, I watched it last night, and I hadn't seen it in so long. I'm just like, God, I love this movie so much. I mean, and like the fact that, like, you know, when it comes down to Lance Henriksen, his character, Dr. Jarrett, he's losing sleep. He's losing his mind. Just he wants to find Max. And the scene where he goes into the police station and they're questioning all this stuff, and he's trying to tell them, and then he just knocks everything off the fucking desk, and he's just like he's losing. He's just he's gonna and that is classic Henriksen. That is like dude, yes,
Right.
a psycho scientist, perfect.
Well, let's check him out.
Let's do that. Yes, I'm so glad you got it.
I'll tell you something. I've given a dangerous and experimental animal a neuropathic drug to keep him stable, keep him calm. When that drug wears off, he is gonna snap.
Hey, don't do that kind of shit in here.
We're sitting on a time bomb. And you're talking about going out and dusting for Prince.
Oh, tell us how to do our job.
You don't get it, do you? Max is fragmenting. He's coming apart. If I don't get him tonight, he's gonna go through a psychotic episode.
You're the only fucking psycho around here.
Yes. Oh,
Who else
I
can
love
do
it.
that? Like, seriously.
In that scene, a little past that, before Lynch walks out the door, he looks at him and he's like, the cop's like, where the hell are you going or whatever the fuck, and he's like, you don't seem to understand. Like, I have to find this dog. Like, because there's 3 different scenes in this movie who's like, Max isn't a normal kind of dog. And like he just like he always just trying to get these fucking like cops' head, and he's like, you don't get it. I love it because I was watching last night. There's so much. Okay, there's so much shit about this fucking movie where I'm bitching about it the whole time I'm watching it. The Judd in this movie, and if you don't know what the Judd is the person that causes the problems. My buddy Whitman was the one that came up with this. The Judd being named after Judd from Pet Sematary. The one who causes the main issues. He causes the fucking problems. Ali Sheedy. She makes all the mistakes in this fucking movie. She lets Max go on walks with a kid that he barely fucking knows. She just doesn't seem to realize that, oh, you just took a dog from a fucking lab where they're doing experiments. You're an idiot. She's treating him like a regular dog. And not to mention the fact, like, I mean, there's so many good scenes in this movie besides, I mean, Lance does a great job throughout every scene in this fucking movie he's in. We can't forget about the acid piss on the face. We can't forget about the dog fucking, like, chewing up the brake lines. We can't forget about the fucking eating the cat, okay? We can't forget about Max brutally... It's got to be the first movie that I've ever seen where there's like a brutal rape scene with a dog. They don't show it. They don't show it. You hear it. And
You
then
know
like,
it's down.
yeah, like, ow, I felt bad for that dog. Like, completely. Like it was bad.
Holly buries her head under the pillow and just fucking sticks her ass in the air pretty much, and then you hear her howling.
And you know that Max is thinking the same, you know, she's asking for it. It's so fucked up. It really is. It's so fucked up. But it's just a good movie. It's a fun movie. And Lance Henriksen just how he acts in that fucking movie where he's losing his fucking mind. He needs to find this dog, and like you believe it. You believe that he like is completely needing to find Max because he's not the normal kind of dog. So
See, I heard he almost didn't take that role because like only thing they really described him as was he was going to play like an evil scientist. And he was like, "There's not really much drive. Like, what the fuck?" So because apparently, like he was saying to them, he's like, "I don't like taking certain roles." He's like, "I won't play a rapist. I won't play this."
yeah.
But then, like they said, you can put your own spin on it, and that's what he did with it. So, like he pretty much created that character.
Yeah, no, I mean, like every one of his characters. I mean, like he really does. You know, I mean, because the thing is, I believe him to be like a scientist that's been, you know, he's had ups and downs and issues, and that, you know, like you almost think like, okay, his wife probably left him and like she took the kids and all that shit. Like you feel like there's more to his character than what you're actually getting.
I always liked how he was always one step ahead of the cops. But then, like
Yeah.
that one
Oh,
scene
yeah.
whenever he pulls up to Ali Sheedy's house, and then like he gets out of the car, then the cops are coming. Shit!
Yeah. It's like he's like so annoyed in that movie. Like he's the most annoyed character in the world because the cops just won't shut the fuck up. And he's like, you don't get it. Like he's gonna kill everybody. And of course, again, Ali Sheedy, our character, Lori, fucks up. But the thing is, I have to do this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna be that guy. But it was also a toss up between that and this. A movie that is very kind of rare in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
The horror show. And for those that aren't familiar, the horror show is the unofficial House 3.
See, that's my number 2.
Ooh,
Very
I can't
nice.
wait to get to that clip. We have a clip of that.
Yeah.
We'll get to it here in a little bit. Stay tuned.
So we'll get back to that when Chad comes to it, clearly. Hell yeah. Makes me happy.
You know, sometimes with actors, that's the best thing for them, for certain actors, is just to let them come up with the material themselves. That's what always worked for me, too. If, like, I was able to come up with my own backstory for the character, it made things a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
And he seems to be like that, too. And like you said, because directors will tell him, man, you're good. Do whatever. Do whatever you think's best.
Yeah, he takes his art very seriously. Hey, I don't know if you would say
No.
nope. House 3,
big
dude. I'm
negative.
telling you,
He is not.
it's not listed. We'll talk about it more in a little in a few, but it's not listed as House 3. I have House 1, House 2, and House 4, and my buddy Jason was the one that gifted me this recently, and I now have all 4, and you don't understand how happy it
There's
makes me.
actually a house box set, and that one is labeled as number 3.
Yeah, it's a weird story. It's very confusing.
Yeah, because
We'll
it has
get to
nothing to do. But we'll get to that. Yeah, definitely.
But well, we'll just keep going. This one, again, my number 2 and 3 were tough too. I went with this one because Lance was the bad guy. He's a great villain, and he has a great death scene, and we get both of those in this movie. You know what? Let's just play the clip. Please enjoy.
Hunting season is over.
Over. That always cracks me up,
shit.
dude.
That is
Yeah.
good shit. I don't know if that
Oh, yeah.
was in the script or not, or if he just said that. I honestly don't know.
He probably just said it. And they kept it.
Oh. That whole fucking scene is fucking gold.
Yeah.
Hard Target was one of those that didn't have a very good script, but it had great action scenes, so it made it a good movie. I think John Woo did that, didn't he?
It was one of his first. Yeah, it was one of his first in America. Yeah. Lance Henriksen said that John Woo and him are still friends to this day. John Woo sends him wine, and he sends him pottery.
John Woo. Yeah, I heard Lance does pottery. He works with clay a lot.
Yeah, he makes some cool shit. Actually, he does some alien stuff and whatever with it. Like, yeah. But, yeah, dude, Hard Target. Yes. That's what I want to hear.
That's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a lot like The Hunt that came out a couple of years ago. They hunt people for sport.
It's like surviving the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, surviving the game.
But I've got to say, though, when it comes down, if we were doing not just the movies, but just the roles, his character in that film is probably my favorite character that he's ever played. One of them, but because the character is such a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's such a piece of shit, and he doesn't care. He's just so evil, and he just has a way. That's the movie you watch, and you go, "What's he like in real life. You know, which in real life he's apparently a fucking sweetheart of a guy. But dude, he plays bad guys so well, and this movie just proves it. Completely proves it.
Yeah, I just watched I'll have to look it up because I forget the name of it, but I just watched a movie that they did not terribly long ago, I guess. But it was like him as a bad guy, and then like one of his buddies, like that was like his partner in crime was Robert Englund, and then Robert Patrick was in it.
Ooh.
Huh.
Yeah, it
What-
was
what
kind
movie-
of slow, but it wasn't
What
bad.
movie was this?
I'll have to look it up again. I forget what it's called. Like something like Now It's On or something like that.
Okay.
But the only way I thought to narrow down my list was picking my favorite roles that he was in. That's kind of what I did. Like with Aliens, he was like he had a big influence on that whole franchise because he went
Yeah.
on later to play Waylon, which was a great part for him because he's kind of this guy that seems like he's a nice guy, but it seems like something's kind of off with him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
And
yeah.
this one, he was
Yeah.
just like a villain with a purpose, like a driven villain. And those are
Yeah.
most dangerous sometimes. And I
Always.
can't wait to get to the number one. All of our number ones, I'm sure.
Probably.
So let's keep this Lance Henriksen train rolling.
Yeah, like I said, number 2 is definitely House 3, the horror show. Now, this was the movie I like I said until recently that I always got confused with The Shocker because they both came out relatively around the same time. And
They're very
had
similar.
the same kind of a premise. But
Before we get into it, should I read? Because since I have the
Read.
VHS.
Oh, God, yes.
read.
All right. So the front of it, I have to say, it says they tried to electrocute Meat Cleaver Max. It didn't work. So
It really says that?
yeah, it says an astonishing 116 people are dead. Max Jink, accused of murdering them all with his trusty meat cleaver, is about to receive justice, the electric chair. But from the first high voltage blast, it becomes clear that Max is no ordinary serial killer. With blood-chilling laugh from the depths of hell, he enters a world beyond our comprehension. Transformed into an unstoppable supernatural force, Max vows revenge on the cop who captured him. Well aware of the maniacal killer's passion to destroy, Detective Lucas McCarthy can only begin to imagine the horror that awaits him and his family. Boom.
So to answer Richard's question, no, George Wendt is not in it. In fact, House 3 or the horror show is only connected in name only.
Yeah, it was one of them weird ones, kind of like Halloween 3.
Yeah. What was another one? Halloween 3. There was a couple of
There
them
were a
like that.
couple back in the day like that.
Well,
They got tied in eventually, but they just didn't fit.
there was a whole thing about it. It's like they needed. It wasn't supposed to be House 3.
Mm-mm.
It was it's the horror show basically, but it gets lumped into House 3 because of like there was different.
I think they released it internationally as House 3.
I think it was like that.
Probably to make up for some of the box office because it didn't do well in the States.
And plus, because Sean Cunningham's name was on it too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That
Fit
happens sometimes.
I think he got credited for one of the Friday the 13th too, but he really didn't do anything on it except for he was on set for like a day.
Sean Cunningham?
Was it the final Friday?
I think so.
I wonder if that's what it was.
Sean Cunningham?
Yeah.
He's in the credits as like an assistant producer or something, but he really was only on set for like a day and didn't do anything.
Oh, with the horror show?
No, with one of the Friday the 13th movies.
I think it was the final Friday.
But like usually, if like you had something to do with that, they always just kind of threw everything together.
Well, Sean Cunningham was the one that put it out.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. He was
Since like he just kind of threw it into a franchise. He kind of started because he started the house series.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
But that movie there, like, and plus, I gotta say, like, within like the last month or two, we really hit a lot of movies that have Brian James in it.
Right?
Like, he pops out of nowhere, and he plays like the best fucking villain ever in this movie. Whenever he's getting electrocuted and shit, and then he's still fucking trying to like come at Lucas because he's the one that fucking locked him up and shit. And then his spirit leaves his body, and he's just pretty much electricity. And then then Lance Henriksen's character starts fucking freaking out and seeing all kinds of crazy shit that really isn't there. Like, sees him on TV, sees him when he's eating dinner. Speaking of eating dinner, let's see Lance eat some dinner.
And I think one of my favorite scenes in any movie.
Your grandpa always ate the drumstick. Wow, Mom, some cool trivia there. Remember? Mike sits on his lap and you sit on his lap.
Don't look now, Cub. But your family's dead.
They were. And he did. They were really huge. Don't you remember?
Just kidding.
Like, he drives him mad, so like to the point where he just starts seeing shit and freaking out.
You know what's actually crazy is watching this one, because I've watched it a couple of times the past couple of months actually. The show Millennium, that is.
I tried finding some of that, but I couldn't find it.
I couldn't find it neither. I don't know why that's so hard to find.
It's impossible to find. They've been Lance Henriksen has been trying to do a campaign for years, like the last few years now, to try to get Millennium to come back, even for a movie, whatever. It's so ridiculous to try to find. But I won't say how I found it, but I had a friend that helped me out, and I've been watching the first season the last couple of days, and man, dude, not only is Lance Henriksen a bad motherfucker in that show, but that soundtrack is awesome. First 2 episodes, you have White Zombie, 9 Inch Nails, and Cypress Hill. Thank you. But I always think that like his character in this is very similar to Frank Black in Millennium. I can't watch this without thinking that he's Frank Black.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and also it's so much better than Shocker. Shocker. Because I mean, yeah, there's goofy ass parts like the moment we just watched a second ago, which that cracks me up every time I fucking watch it. Just kidding. Like where the fuck is that motherfucker at now? You know, like where's Brian James at now? Like what the fuck is he doing?
I don't know.
I really don't know either. I'll have to look it up.
He's one of those as well that like, you know, you can seriously you know, love him into the guy you've seen, but you don't know his name. You know, he's been. I mean, especially within like the mid '80s to the late '90s, he was in fucking everything. You know, but yeah, fucking such a good fucking movie. And I have it on VHS.
I think another part of the problem was they went on to make House 4, and we're probably like, oh shit. Well, I guess just call it House 3. Release it as a box set. What? Did he pass away?
Yeah, 99.
Oh, wow.
How'd he die?
Don't know.
Damn.
Yeah, he died. Damn. He was only 54.
Bet you it was a heart attack.
I'll have to look into that one. There you go. Yep.
Was it
heart attack?
Yeah. Damn.
He just filmed 5 movies and then he had a heart attack.
Because the Fifth Element came out in 97, I think.
That's crazy.
That was probably one of his last movies.
Weird.
That's kind of crazy. I had no fucking idea that he was gone. That sucks.
Me either.
Well, goddamn.
Right. That's crazy. That's a bummer.
Yeah. No, it kind of is actually. Guy was in so many fucking movies. I mean, you're right. We really have touched base on him for many episodes now, especially with the
ever since Action in August. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Everything.
He's gone up against some of the best. You know,
that other movie I was talking about with him in England and Robert Patrick's called Good Day for It.
Good Day for It.
Check that out.
It's not bad. He plays like a like I said, like he runs the gang pretty much. Richard Brake's in it too,
Okay.
and they're all in the gang together. And then Robert Patrick was in the gang with him, but then he ended up stealing $250,000 from him from a bank job they did. So many years later, after him fucking running, like he abandoned his family and everything. So like whenever his daughter actually like finds him and tracks him down and then tries to see him, and then he meets up with her, and then that's whenever Lance Henriksen and all the other guys find him.
What's it called again?
Good Day for It.
I'm finding this shit later. How can I not?
I'll be back. Talk amongst yourselves.
I don't know what day it came out. I'm trying to find that shit up.
I mean, that's a pretty good lineup of actors in the fucking movie.
Yeah, I mean that's why I watched it, because, like, I mean, he plays in a good bit of movies that kind of are just like you said, like not great, but they're watchable. And
yeah,
this one, that's kind of where I was gonna put it at. But then, like, the more I watched it, like, it was kind of slow, but it was good. Like, it was definitely one of those ones where I didn't really know what to expect. Like, I was really expecting to see maybe somewhat of a stinker film, because
right, yeah.
like they have a lot of those. But yeah, it was pretty dope from like the whole movie.
You know, while we wait for Dave to get back from, you know, leaking the lizard. I've been watching this, that, and the other here lately, and
I know.
oh, there he is. I watched a clip of a movie called Nights earlier that I didn't know existed, and it has a scene at the end of it where it's Lance Henriksen and Chris Christopherson going into battle against each other. I didn't know this movie existed.
Today I found another movie with a lot of bigger names in it too. Was called Dead Man.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Came out in
Johnny Depp
or something. Him and Johnny Depp and
it's got Dieter from The Crow in it. The guy that played the bad guy.
No, yeah. Crispin Glover.
Yeah. It also has a cameo from what's his ass? The singer from Butthole Surfers. He's in an alley in the movie.
I've never seen that movie. Like I watched part of it.
That's a good one. This morning. It's a good one. It's got Robert Mitchum in it, and
the first 6 minutes is literally Johnny Depp playing solitaire on a train.
Yeah, it's a slow burn. It's a black and white movie. They try to take it back, but yeah, and that's one where Lance talks about in an interview that I watched, where
he's like a bounty hunter, like trying to track him down to kill him because he shot the one dude's son that he was supposed to be getting a job with.
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah,
but that was one movie that Lance said that he improvised most of it. There wasn't really much of a script, and he just said do whatever. You know,
It was just like the one scene cracked me up though, because like there's 3 of them that are on the trail to try to find Johnny Depp's character, and then like one dude, he's about to drink some water, like this stagnant water or whatever on the trail. And Lance is like, I wouldn't do that if I were you. And he was like, fuck you. And then he just shoots him in the back of the head. And he's like, fuck me?
I think I know what scene you're talking about. It's been a minute since I've watched that fucking movie, but yeah.
I've never seen it until today.
That's a good one. It's a fun movie. I'm a sucker for movies that are done in black and white anyway.
Yeah, like the whole movie pretty much fucking Johnny Depp's hanging out with that Indian guy because he took whenever like the one dude shot the girlfriend or whoever, I guess the whore or whatever, the bullet went through her and actually like stopped because it hit his sternum.
Yeah. Iggy Pop's also in that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of people in that fucking movie. It's pretty good. But yeah, old Lance Henriksen. Yeah, I have it written down right over here. Yeah.
What was your number deuce?
My number 2. Actually, my number 2 is Pumpkinhead. I believed I believe that Lance Henderson's character
And Harley
was a grieving. Well, yeah, was a grieving father. And the fact that everything that happens in that movie, you know, he does whatever it takes. You know, your kid dies, and you're being told a witch might be able to like bring something forth. Why wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, your kid can't come back, but you can get the vengeance. Unfortunately, you know,
doesn't work out well.
it always backfires. Anytime that's the thing about vengeance and revenge is, yeah, you might get your justification, but know that it's probably going to turn around on you at some point.
He plays the
And
same
just-
pretty much same kind of character in Pit and the Pendulum.
Yeah, yeah. It's such a classic. Oh, which by the way, let me just go ahead and throw this out here. Poking ahead on VHS here. May I?
Please do.
Okay. Oscar-winning special effects wizard Stan Winston, responsible for creating the Mother Alien and Aliens of the Terminator android, now directs Pumpkinhead, his most frightening creature to date. Pumpkinhead is based on characters from American folklore and classic mythology, added to its potent, unrelenting terror. When a backwoods community is invaded by big city bikers, a tragic accident leaves a local child dead. Torn by grief, the father wants more than justice. He wants primitive, cold-blooded revenge. He invokes the demon Pumpkinhead for retribution against the bikers. But as the father discovers to his horror, a grisly price must be paid. The full consequences are yet to be revealed as the film prays as stylish and atmospheric, with Hollywood Reporter tightens to its unexpected, unforgettable finale.
Wow.
Approximately running time, 1 hour, 27 minutes, color, 1988, rated R.
That description was way better than the other one.
And it's a great movie.
Oh, so
I
good.
watched that last week, actually.
I've watched this movie so many goddamn times.
It's funny because this week none of them are online.
Yeah,
Except
motherfuckers.
except for part 4.
Yeah,
But
go
I
for it.
remember that movie. I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but I remember the poster. The poster was what made me rent the movie.
I always remembered that sound that it made whenever it would show up, that
Mhm.
crickety, crackety, electric-y type sound.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, you hear that shit, you know shit's about to fucking go down. Like, whenever they're in the church hiding towards the end, they're like, there he fucking is.
I did some going back and rewatching. I watch this movie like all the fucking time. I watch Pumpkinhead like once or twice every couple of weeks. I mean, it's one of those I just put on. If I'm doing something, put on Pumpkinhead. If I'm going to sleep, put on Pumpkinhead. If I just want to watch Pumpkinhead, put on fucking Pumpkinhead. Eventually, I'm gonna have a tattoo of Pumpkinhead. My idea is having Pumpkinhead and then Lance Henderson's face kind of meshing together. But I Pumpkinhead 2, Pumpkinhead 3, Pumpkinhead 4. Lance Henriksen is in 3 and 4 as the ghost.
See, I never saw the 4th one. And I don't really remember the other 2.
Mm-mm.
In Lance Henderson's words, they're kind of bullshit. He did not care for those movies whatsoever. He actually laughed when it came down to him being asked about those movies. And then actually when it been asked about Prometheus, he actually like ducked under his chair. But whatever. Like no, that the original. I mean, the other Pumpkinhead movies they're fun. You can watch them. They're okay, I guess. No, they're really not. They're made by sci-fi and they suck. I know you can. Yeah, no, you can. They're fun, I guess, but they're not good.
I guess.
So you know, but the first one, the original, the numero uno, Pumpkinhead is by far
It's great.
the best one ever. Yeah, yeah. It stands up to the test of time, and Man, what a great like let's get a good look at this cover.
And it's a
again.
great monster too. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
just
that's
like
what I'm saying.
the design for Pumpkinhead. Like to me, like you can kind of see where Sam got his look from Trick or Treat, because he kind of had like it's a pumpkin head, but
Yeah.
you can definitely see that in there if you go and watch Trick or Treat whenever Sam takes the bag off his head.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the character design itself is fucking great, and he was kind of a prick. Like that one scene where fucking he's chasing everybody, and then the dude hops on the fucking dirt bike, and then he picks up the dirt bike chain, and he's like, "Look what I got! Fuck, you ain't going nowhere. Except for I'm gonna go launch you 40 feet in the air with my other hand."
That's one thing I noticed about the Pumpkinhead franchise in general is like they're all the same.
Yeah.
It usually ends up with like, oh, there's a group of teenagers. It's almost like that one kid that everybody's scared of at summer camp, and it chases everybody. Everybody's like, "Oh, girl!" That's what they start to kind of feel like.
Right.
I was that kid in summer camp, but whatever.
Yeah.
They act like a werewolf and chase everybody, and hypothetically, and
Jason sounds.
Yeah, that's the other ones kind of come off as, but yeah, the Pumpkinhead, and plus, I mean, goddamn Pumpkinhead. The name Pumpkinhead just sounds fucking. If it wasn't going to be a classic fucking creature feature, it was destined to be a fucking metal band.
Right.
We are Pumpkinhead. I mean, come on, you can hear it. A lot better than that fucking shit band Machine Head, huh? Fuck those guys.
I always found it odd too, though, how because he gets killed by getting the kid gets killed by getting smashed by a dirt bike, but at the same time, whenever he lands, he doesn't exactly land on the kid; he lands beside him. To me, it was just like an over excessive type kill. Like it didn't. I don't think it really would have killed him, but I guess they had to figure out a way for this kid to die, or else they really had a revenge movie.
You talking about the kid at the beginning of it?
Yeah, his son.
Okay. Yeah, I agree, but I think in the time period also they had to be careful with that.
Right.
That's true.
Because I mean, kids died in movies at that time period or whatever. But if you notice, a lot of those movies, it wasn't graphic. It wasn't.
Yeah, like Pet Sematary. They just kind of show the truck so you get the visual in your mind.
And that was all you fucking needed. I still can't watch that fucking movie. And I love that movie.
Yeah.
Because that time period, you couldn't, for them to show a mangled child was probably not going to work, But yeah, Pumpkinhead, one of the greatest of all time. One of the most underrated horror movies. I mean, it's got a nice momentum the last 15 years. Somehow, like all these other fucking movies that were like, wait a minute, I love this movie, and I was 12, and everybody else fucking had no idea what it was, and now it's a big thing. Which I'm glad that the Pumpkinhead is still a name that people remember. But I gotta say that if they make any more fucking sequels, I'm gonna fucking rip my goddamn chin hair out. Because they're not good. Sci-fi needs to stop. Sci-fi needs to stop making movies. Pieces of shit. I can't say it.
Next one will be Pumpkin NATO.
Oh God. Starring Lance Henriksen
for the week. What's the time on that? 53. Okay. Well, the way you describe Pumpkinhead there at the end sounds a lot like our number one.
Is it
no.
Want to be our number one? I think it is all three of our number
Well,
ones.
is it?
But,
it is. It fucking is.
Well,
let's just play the clip.
Let's just play the
clip.
Play
the fucking clip.
Hey, whichever way you're heading, I'd appreciate a lift.
Sure thing. Climb in.
Turn off the car.
Hey, asshole. My pal here told you to turn off the car. Now, you mind if I dance with your wife? She's a real look at this one. Ooh. Yeah.
You're not gonna look so good with your face ripped off.
Boy, did we get lucky tonight. She is so beautiful, and he is so fucking stupid.
Who's stupid? Who's stupid?
Yeah.
Would you just
by the way, I gotta say, Jeanette Goldstein, is that her name?
Yes.
I've always thought she was hot as fuck.
Right.
In Terminator 2, Aliens, and in this, especially in this. Oh my god. She is fucking gorgeous. I don't even know what the fuck she's doing these days. Fucking gorgeous, completely.
She's another fucking chameleon. You can't recognize her in one role from the next. She looks completely different in everything she does.
Kind of. I've recognized her in every fucking movie without even knowing. I'm like, oh, that's that one chick. Yes, Sci-Fi is doing a great job on Chucky.
Yeah, it's about
I'm not really that much of a fan or nothing. But yeah, it's the second season starts tonight. So yeah, Sci-Fi has done great with Chucky, but leave fucking Pumpkinhead alone. But anyway, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm fucking saying. Sci-Fi, I have a little bit of beef with Sci-Fi anyway, though. Can I rant real quick? Can I get you right?
Please do. 56. Go ahead.
All right, Sci-Fi Channel back in the day fucking made a movie at Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville, Kentucky. A place that I hold very dear, that I've been there once on a tour. I went there for Sounds of the Underground with Guar, Lamb of God, Hatebreed, a bunch of other bands. While I was on the tour, one of the people that was giving us the fucking tour was telling us how Sci-Fi Channel made a movie called Death Tunnel. Some of you might have seen it. It's a real piece of shit film. They told the people that own Waverly Hills Sanatorium that they would clean up their mess when they left. They spray painted walls. They left props everywhere. They destroyed, I know for a fact, one level of the building with their shit because I saw it. And when the director was asked about the cleanup crew that was supposed to be coming later on, he said, that's just Hollywood, baby. So, yeah, good job, Sci-Fi on Chucky. Fuck you otherwise. So, yeah, fuck Sci-Fi. Thank you for Chucky. You did a good job after 20 years of not doing a goddamn thing that anybody gives a flipping fuck about. So, yeah, that's my issue.
I'm positive other people are involved in the Chucky show. The Sci-Fi is just a network they made a deal with to air it.
True. I mean, you can't. Yeah, Sci-Fi puts it out, but at the same point, you got Jennifer Tilly, Brad Dourif. I think the original director who for
Mancini.
Yeah, they're all a part of it. So yeah, so Sci-Fi is just a fucking. They're the ones bringing it out. Otherwise, they can't take any fucking credit. Yeah, they're the vehicle. They're the fucking the vessel. So Sci-Fi gets no fucking respect because they're pieces of shit completely. But good for them for putting out Chucky.
How do you really feel, Chuck?
Well, let me get right down to it. No.
Listen here, brother.
Look here, brother.
So, in case you didn't know, is our number one Near Dark?
Yeah.
Awesome. It is a vampire horror movie that you might not have seen.
Wait. May I?
Are you going to read the description?
I have the VHS right here. Another gift from my buddy Jason Bartlett.
Let that baby fire.
In the dusty heart of the American Southwest, innocent country boy Caleb Colton is seduced by a beautiful girl into joining a roving pack of vicious drifters led by the enigmatic Jesse, which is played by Lance Henriksen. But this is no ordinary band of outlaws. Caleb is now trapped in a nightmare of soulless evil that waits in the shadows, hellish mayhem that thrives on blood and absolute horror that begins near dark. Bill Paxton, Jeanette Goldstein, and directed by Catherine Bigelow. The Entertainment Weekly calls ultra stylish, ultra violent, and altogether brilliant. This is more than simply the most ferocious original vampire movie of our generation. Near Dark is one of the best horror movies of all time.
I would agree.
And they don't say the word vampire once
I
in
was
the whole
just
movie.
gonna say that. Get out of my head. I was just because I have a confession. I just saw this movie for the first time yesterday.
Which blows my mind. Blows
It's hard
my
to
mind.
find. And this came out at a time when I guess vampire movies were getting kind of trendy. I think Fright Night had come out a couple years before that. The Lost Boys came out like 2 months before Near Dark, and of course, Lost Boys had a huge budget. They were backed by Warner Brothers. Near Dark was more of an independent movie.
Yeah.
That for with all the garbage that comes out today, all the people that write the garbage that come out today, please take note because women do in fact direct really good action movies. Catherine Bigelow probably being chief among them.
Yes.
She directed Point Break, The Hurt Locker. I think this was her first gig actually. And she co-wrote it too.
It's such a good fucking film.
With two scene stealers, Lance and Bill Paxton are fucking amazing in this movie.
Well, James Cameron told her to use them because
he
worked with them on Alien.
Yeah, so she called and asked, is it cool? I'm kind of poaching your.
And then they got married later.
Yeah, they were married for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about Near Dark and Lost Boys, the whole versus thing with them. Because I love both movies. I know that all of us have a love for Lost Boys.
I really do.
But this film got so fucking backburnered because of Lost Boys.
There are some familiar scenes in each movie too.
Yes.
Like whenever they're standing on top the little hill there looking down and they have the silhouette scene with the lighted background. They use that in the Lost Boys too. Whenever they're at the fucking the sand beach or whatever, whenever they're fucking racing and shit.
The outsider gets lured in by the girl, like Michael and Star, has to adjust to.
The plots are very
similar, and then they fight at the end, and it's kind of
in this movie they find out.
Did you see Lost Boys? Lost Boys was before this.
Yeah, like 2 months. But Near Dark, they only played in 262 theaters, I think.
Yeah, it's a cult favorite. I mean, there's no getting around it. I mean, when it comes down to the rocker look of vampires and stuff, everybody wants to go with Lost Boys. But I have to say that being a comic book guy. A lot of the comic book vampires and how some of these guys, Preacher, for one. God, what is his fucking name? He's a fucking vampire. One of Preacher's fucking buddies is a vampire. I can't.
What was his name? I know you're talking about. Shit.
It's one of the greatest fucking comic books of all time. I mean, it really is.
I miss that show. I miss that show so much. That was a good show.
I've only seen the first episode, so I need to go back and watch it.
It gets better. It gets way better.
But comic book wise, I have the first 4 or 5 graphic novels. But if you look, he's kind of almost based off Bill Paxton in a way.
Cassidy, thank you. That's it.
Cassidy, yes. Thank you, Richard. There's especially the bar scene in Near Dark, where Bill Paxton is finger looking good. He has that look, the sunglasses, the leather jacket, and he's that guy. If I was gonna be a vampire, I want to be that guy.
Yeah, he just embraced it.
Yeah.
And I heard a funny story about that scene. Is Bill Paxton said because he suffered from migraines really bad. Yeah. He had one that day, and it was just like, man, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And he said they shot him up with B12. I think it might have been more than that, but that's what he said.
Yeah.
And that's when you got the scene that you did.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Do we have a Near Dark scene?
I wanted to put the bar scene, but there was a lot of blood in that, and it was mostly Bill Paxton. Lance wasn't in it all that much.
We don't have any near dark scenes right now.
We just saw one.
It is that one. That was
Just
it.
the hitchhiker. I know. I wanted to put the bar scene. But if you want to see the movie, if you haven't seen it, if you go on Amazon Prime and search for it, it's on one of their million sub channels. Movie Sphere, I believe it's called. But if you search Near Dark in your Amazon Prime, it'll actually come up.
Lance Henriksen said that they all loved these characters so much. They all sunk their teeth into it completely, so to speak. He was talking about, like, and I was mentioning it earlier about talking about this. He spent a shit ton of money coming up with a wardrobe and all that shit, because in his head, and you never, and it's never really explained, but they all came up with their own ideas of where they came from and all that stuff. And for him, because you see a rebel flag at a certain point, like he's wrapped up, he's got stuff. And it's because it's not anything but the fact of that he's a Civil War. That's where he came from. And he even has his ponytail dipped in wax to make it look more, authentic. The idea of vampires driving in a car.
Yeah, they were more like gypsies than like rock and roll stars, like in Lost Boys. They were all in that van together.
Well, then they also
gypsies,
a Western. They always called it a Western vampire film.
Yeah, she wanted to do it as a Western at first, but the studio wasn't. They didn't think it would sell. I think that would have been awesome. I would love to see a Western with vampires. I think that would be cool.
That'd be dope.
In my
I will go ahead and throw this out here. If you want to see a vampire movie that's a Western, Glenn Danzig came out with one recently, the past couple of years, called Death Rider. Was it Death Rider in the House of Vampires? I haven't seen it yet. Devin Sawa plays the Death Rider. Danny Trejo's in it. A bunch of people. So if you ever want, I haven't, I want to watch it.
But how that?
It's not on Shudder yet.
It just came out last year.
It just came out.
Eli Roth,
huh?
Danny Trejo, Devin Sawa, and Danzig himself.
Yeah, it looks a whole lot better than his Veronica movie. Veronica, that movie's so shitty. It's so bad. We won't even.
Death Rider in the House of Vampires.
Yeah. I'm excited as fuck to watch that movie.
Me too now. All the shit I've seen Danzig do isn't bad. It's a little weird and fucked up, but it just then if you go back and look at like his album covers and shit, it makes sense.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like, have you seen Veronica?
Yeah.
So you've seen Veronica.
It's
would you say it's a good movie?
It's not really.
Okay. To the point where last year I did me and Whitman did a Facebook live stream where we were watching the movie and talking about whatever. We stopped it halfway through and went off and went driving around with some buddies. It's bad. It's so bad. But if you're curious about a Western vampire film, Danzig's got the Death Rider movie out at some point, wherever you can find it. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's been released.
Yeah, but I could also see Near Dark being. It's definitely got a Western feel to it. It definitely does.
Yeah, you can tell it started out that way.
Yeah,
especially like when he's running through the field and when. And there was another famous story that Lance and Bill Paxton got pulled over by the cops one night when they were in full costume because Lance was speeding, and Lance freaked the cop out so bad that he reached for his gun at one point.
Oh wow!
Because he kind of stayed in character, and he picked up a hitchhiker for real one night, and the hitchhiker was rolling up a cigarette, and Lance just kept fucking with him like his character, because his character always had to be in control, so he would say things like "You're not doing that right," or.
Yeah,
or this cigarette tastes like shit, or like stuff like that. because I think he audition for Bill Paxton's part at first.
I think so.
I think he was better as Jesse. I think he was better for that part, being the leader, being the father.
Of course.
And he came up with a whole backstory by himself too. I think he said he had the idea that he got turned. He was in the Navy. He was at sea, and that's when he got turned.
He was in the Civil War.
That's what he said in the movie, because there was some interview with him where he said, and maybe I'm mistaken, but he said he was in the Navy. He was at sea when he got turned.
I watched the interview before he got on here.
Oh, did you the same one?
Probably one of a very recent one.
Well, Bill Paxton was in it, so it was probably really old.
Oh, okay. No, the one I watched, the one that I was watching before here was very recently, and he was talking about how, because the question that was asked was something about the story of Near Dark and all that stuff, and he was talking about how, like, no, my guy was in the Civil War. He was he's been, that was the whole thing. Which
he
makes
says
perfect sense.
Too. He says he fought for the South.
Yeah. Which, I mean, just goes along with him being a bad guy. That's just so nobody fucking freaked the fuck out. He's a bad dude. He's supposed to be a bad dude. Oh yeah. Something else about Near Dark that I found interesting was, have you read the sequel to Stephen King's The Shining?
Dr. Sleep?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I haven't seen the movie. I have not seen the movie yet. It's one
I never read the book, but I saw the movie. So
I read the book, and the whole time I was reading it, I was thinking of them. The whole time I was reading it, I was thinking of Near Dark.
Okay. Yeah.
Like there's a very similar feel to those characters. Now I need to watch Dr. Sleep, but yeah, like reading the book, I was thinking of the people in Near Dark completely. It just seemed that same kind of mentality and fucked upness, like completely. A great book. I had a much better sequel than I was expecting it was going to be.
Yeah, the movie wasn't bad. It wasn't great.
Was it pretty good? That's why I need to topple on that one.
It worked.
Mm.
Hell
the way I took it is the blood was like a drug.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
that's the way I took it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, that's also like True Blood.
True Blood.
Yeah, I mean, True Blood. I always like True Blood. It was interesting. Amazing show. Okay. Yeah, like Near Dark. You can't get when it comes to the vampire films that are like, it's a vampire film without it being a vampire film. It's perfect. And the bar scene, that whole bar scene is just fucking great. Lance Henriksen, they're all sitting at a bar, and the waitress comes up, and he's like, no, just a glass. And she's like, oh, just a glass. He's like, yeah, you're scared as hell right now, aren't you? And he just grabs her, and he's just like, oh, I love your skin. It's just so soft. And then he, like, starts draining her blood into a glass, starts drinking it. Like, it's just great. The kid in that fucking movie, though, God, I want to kick him in the face.
John Miller?
Yeah.
He was
in everything like the mid to late 80s.
I recognize him from Class of 1999 right away.
Well,
he just has that face.
Have you ever seen were you ever fans of the Wonder Years?
I remember it.
Yeah, I mean,
I used to.
That was about it.
When I was a kid, I watched Wonder Years religiously. I love that show. He's in an episode of that. It's an episode where Fred Savage is he's wanting to be in a band, and he meets this kid, and this dude is the kid. He's cool. He plays. He's a lot of talk. Oh, I play guitar in this band and blah, 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 all this stuff. And they actually form a band. The kid fucking like locks up at their first show. It's that dude. completely that dude. Like, I was like, oh shit, it's that kid. His face always annoyed the fuck out of me.
Mhm.
He just always seems stopped up and just like, he's that kid you just want to flick.
Yeah, just
Fuck
his
away
voice
from
is
me.
annoying because he sounds real nasally.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
I did recognize one of the bikers in the bar as the same biker in the bar that was in Terminator 2.
Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Yep, I was gonna bring that up too. Yep.
It's so weird
We're
that
all got
Cameron-
us closed.
all the crossovers. It's weird.
You forgot to say please.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Such a good movie. If you haven't seen it, which a lot of people haven't, I guess I just watched it for the first time yesterday.
And it's probably the
Check
only
it out.
vampire movie you'll see that they don't say that they're vampires and you never see them with any fangs.
Not one time.
Yeah. But it's well, Bill Paxton kind of has fangs for a minute at the bar scene.
Did he?
I missed it.
I think so. He had like kind of points. I think unless I saw it wrong. But yeah.
Still a great movie. Way ahead of its time.
It's the only movie that you can cure vampirism by just getting a blood transfusion.
Something else about Lance Henriksen in that movie is Lance. He got these really gnarly fingernails.
Oh, that's right.
Super glued to his hand, to his hands, and he broke them off
with a pair of pliers.
Yeah, to make him look more realistic, and that way he can just, hang them down like Nosferatu.
Yes,
you watched the same interview I did, didn't you?
I think I did too, but the one I saw was
with Bill Paxton.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, we watched it.
Because after I watched that movie, like I was hopping on the internet, I was searching for stuff.
Yeah,
like, part of the reason I couldn't figure out why this movie didn't. Why can't I find this movie? Why didn't this movie do better? Why don't a lot of people know about this movie? I still don't have an answer for that.
Lost Boys, man. When it comes down to that, is Lost Boys.
I mean, I guess like independent movies back then didn't get treated the way they do now.
True.
Maybe that's part of it.
Something else that Lance Henriksen said in an interview that I watched. He was talking about Near Dark, and he was like, "We love these characters so much. We wanted to start." He said it was on the last day of shooting, and we said, "Let's film the prequel now." He's like, "Let's," because he's like they love the characters so much. They wanted to keep it going. That they actually felt like they were those people, and I love that. Like I love that like a motherfucker because that's one of his favorite roles, and he was perfect in it.
Mm-hmm.
He was almost Terminator also.
Right.
Don't forget about that. He was almost Terminator.
That's too bad.
He said that. What?
I heard they were going to remake it years ago. But they stopped it because of another movie that came out.
What was the other movie?
Twilight. So in a way, it kind of saved us. I wouldn't want to see this remade. I don't
think I would either.
Leave it alone.
We'll see how bad they fuck up the Lost Boys shit, and then we'll go from there.
I forgot.
Is there a remake of Lost Boys coming out?
Yeah. Is it a show?
I don't know. They switched.
I don't remember.
Oh God. Why? Look, for fuck's sakes, people, From Dusk Till Dawn didn't need fucking two fucking sequels. Vampires didn't need 2 fucking sequels. We didn't need that shit. Near Dark needs to stay as this fucking solo thing.
They're doing like a reboot or remake of the Lost Boys. They're not making like a 4th one. Although Lance was in the 3rd one.
Was he?
Pretty sure he was in the Lost Tribe.
It wouldn't surprise me.
No, never mind. That was a different movie altogether.
Oh, okay.
I actually watched part of that. He's only in it for like 10 minutes. It's been a long day.
Some other things, because I mentioned earlier, there's a movie called Knights where Lance and Chris Christopherson are going on a big epic battle. I saw that earlier. Yeah, it doesn't look like a good movie at all.
That's too bad. How can you fuck that up?
Yeah, well, go watch the scene. we can't forget about the fact that he was also in, he started his career just being like a cop or whatever. So like he was in Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino. He was one of the cops in that. He was in Terminator as one of the cops. Color of Night, he was one of the patients to Bruce Willis's character, who was a therapist. We talked about Dead Man. Stone Cold.
Oh yeah,
Stone Cold.
His character in that was dope, but the movie itself, meh.
That happens a lot with him. It's weird,
But it's funny if you go back and watch it though. Like I actually watched it on I think it was on Pluto or Tubi or something, but it was riff tracks. Fucking hilarious.
Also, Quick and the Dead.
I was just gonna say that. That was almost my number 3. But he just wasn't in it all that much.
He wasn't in it much. When spoiler, when his time came, because Gene Hackman, who is another favorite of mine, when he's doing his mustache, and he said in the interview I was watching earlier, which I probably said about 8 times now, he was talking about that scene where he was fucking with his mustache, and that wasn't actually a part of the thing. Like he was just fucking with it, and then dude was like, fuck with your mustache while you're talking to him. And he's just like, oh yeah, like it took him out of my right hand or whatever the fuck, left hand or whatever it was. And Gene Hammond's just like, he's like, oh yeah, with that hand? He's like, yeah, I know. He's like, I was there. He's like, you didn't kill him. I did. And like he shoots him, and it's classic Lance Henriksen. Fuck. Like, like you just he always has a way about himself about like when he's getting hurt or whatever, like he has that gravel in his voice and you know it's him immediately. Like it's I don't know. Like it's like a man's best friend, he's what scene was it? He was chasing Max or something. It was something in the laboratory. And he's like, God damn it. And like it just I don't know, like you've heard him say that 1,000 times in other movies. It's just the way he says it. Like Lance Henriksen, man. Fucking
that scene where he gets electrocuted at the end there. Whenever her fucking little new puppy plugs in the cord that fucking electrocutes.
Yeah. It's like, you dick. Because I don't really think his character was really a bad guy. I mean, like, okay, it was shitty that he was testing on animals. That was the whole thing. He was a bad guy for that.
Right.
But, because they even ask him in the movie, he's like, I worry about, human, and it's, I don't know. But like, at the end of that, when he gets electrocuted, and he's like all flopping around and shit for a minute. Like he's great in his death scenes. He's always good in his death scenes. Completely crazy.
What I thought was funny about that movie, though, like I was watching something about it the other day, and they were saying the director, whenever Max ends up being with the collie, and then at the end it has the litter of pups, and then they have the one that looks just like Max. And they were like, "You really plan on doing a sequel to this?" And he was like, "Oh God, no."
There was a thing that Lance Henriksen said in another interview that I was watching, where they were going through his career and they mentioned Prometheus and Prometheus, whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, and he said he was at the premiere of it. And they were watching. He was like, "Oh God, this movie's horrible." Like he was singing out of his seat, and they were inviting actors and stuff to come up on stage to talk about the movie. And so he goes up there, and they're like all in like a line and shit, whatever. He says he drops down to his knees and crawls out before, because somebody's like, "Oh, we've got Lance Henriksen." He's like, "Nope," and he just leaves. Like he crawls out on his hands and knees. He's like, "I'm not even doing this." He's like, "How do you talk about a movie that you fucking thought was horrible?" Like
right.
He's like, "How do you do?"
Crazy the fact that he's 82 and he's still fucking work.
Yeah, Yeah, he's still doing it. Like I said, that Fallen movie with Viggo Mortensen, which is complete drama, completely drama. That was 1 or 2 years ago when that came out. he's still kicking ass and taking names, man. He's
And he
one
he
of
does narrations for films and shit. And then,
video games.
yeah, video games, fucking like just voicing animated characters. Like he's Brainiac in one of the Superman movies.
Yeah. He does. He does the
everything.
voice. He does the voice of one of the guys on Call of Duty.
Yeah. Call of Duty on, Modern Warfare.
True. Sorry. The recent game. Oh, what is it? It's made by the people who made Until Dawn, where it's like you're watching a movie, and you occasionally, it's like a choose your own adventure kind of thing. I can't remember what it's called though. It recently came out. It's called the shit. I'm drawing a blank on what it's fucking called.
I think Dave's looking for it.
The Quarry?
Yeah, The Quarry. Yeah. It looks fucking cool. I actually made a mistake the other day. God damn, I'm having a cough fit here. I made a mistake the other day. I was looking at a bunch of stuff. And I found the scene where Lance Henriksen's character in that dies. And it's so fucking crazy watching these fucking video games. They look just like the actors. Every actor in that fucking video game, you're like, oh, I know that guy. Just like in Until Dawn. If you haven't played Until Dawn, it's great. It's Duder from Fargo, and he plays the devil in Constantine. I'm drawing a blank on his fucking name.
Yeah, that's another. That's a fucking another one.
Right. That guy's fucking great. He does the main narration throughout that whole video game. And you know it's him because it looks just like him. Like, it's cool as fuck. Like, you get to watch a movie and play a video game at the same time. And the core is the same way, and I can't wait to fucking play it. And the fact that it just came out, Lance Henriksen's doing shit for that, yeah, man, the guy's not going to stop. He's like Ozzy. He ain't going to stop till he's...
Like, I was calling him the horror version of fuck my life, Morgan Freeman. Because he tends to narrate. He does like narrations of like a lot of horror documentaries and shit that I've noticed on like Prime. I'll be searching through there, and he does a lot of talking.
Did he do the narration for the Red, White, and Blood or whatever? Yeah. Which is one hell of a horror documentary.
Yeah. And then like even like that movie that I found, that Monster Brawl shit. Like he's just pretty much he's the voice of God.
Yeah.
But like, it's the same thing. Just like his voice, like you know it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like if you hear it, you know who it is. Especially like if you're like a big horror fan.
Yeah, yeah. That's
like,
why I like
streaming. Like you'd be watching Discovery Channel and shit, and be like, "What the fuck? He's talking about penguins." Like, but I know it's Morgan Freeman. Same thing like kind of like James Earl Jones. They just have that fucking voice.
Yeah, yeah. That's why like I know that like when I try to do my voices and show it that like I know I can't really get on the gravel side of like Lance Henriksen, but I can get damn close. Like because he has his own fucking thing.
Yeah,
I think so. Max isn't any ordinary dog.
There you have it, kids. Lance Henriksen night.
Oh, that was fun.
This was fun. Now, we talked a little bit about reboots and how much they suck, but they don't always have to be bad. Can you guess what's happening next week? Let's just play the trailer.
It's time.
Braveheart.
Me too, Dave. I am so excited about this. Also, we had to say it also loops back to Lance Henriksen because he was in Hell World. The only good thing about that movie was that Lance Henriksen was awesome in it. Hell World really wasn't that bad. It was weird.
We watched the end scene today.
Yeah, I never saw it. I never saw it until about 4 weeks ago. I just kind of escaped
We may
it.
also have guests on the show.
Yes, we'll have people joining us next week in honor of the celebration that is the long-awaited, decent Hellraiser movie. After 30 freaking years, we're actually getting a good Hellraiser movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
Who's our guest?
Sir Sturdy will be there.
Yes. Yes. Horror with Sir Sturdy. Sir Sturdy himself will be joining us that evening to talk about, well, I mean, because we haven't seen the movie yet.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. That comes out, Friday. Yeah. I'm so watching it that night.
I'll be watching that shit twice, probably.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. I'm ready. I'm fucking ready.
3 a.m. start time Friday. Well, Thursday night. I can't wait.
It's going to be fun. It better be good, goddammit.
I've heard good things.
I've heard good things.
First Monsters episode. That'd be shitty.
Oh, Jesus. Jesus.
Yeah, I think they got a handle on this one. And it is Clive Barker's birthday today.
It is.
Well, it was. Half hour ago.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday to the master of the erotic, the macabre, the gross, and the beautiful. The Clive Barker is
why I watch Nightbreed
one of my. Hell yeah! I mean, hell, I got Dr. Decker right here. Got
nice.
Of course the puzzle box. Clive Barker is one of the biggest influences on me as a horror writer, and I fucking love the shit out of that guy's work. And it has to do them. Yeah. So happy birthday to Clive. I'm glad you're still kicking, bro.
But that's next week. Tonight was Lance Henriksen night. Thank you for checking us out here on Video Store Clerks. Before we go, before Chuck's phone dies, do you have anything going on, sir?
Bastard Sons of Jesus Go. We got Mountains of Metal 7. We haven't done it since Mountains of Metal 2. We've been invited back, so we're on the mountains. That's October 14th and 15th, I think. Friday and Saturday. We're on the Saturday.
Yeah.
It's in London, Kentucky. It's like 20 bucks. It's like $10 for one day, $30 for both days. You can camp, whatever. It's a good time. A lot of good fucking bands both days. Also got the Tales from the Podcast comic book called Tales of Shock and Terror, which there we go. The main cover as well as the other covers on that. The variant covers, as they would say. Go buy those so we can get the second issue going. And then let's see. Of course, Graveyard Talk and Nasty Nation's coming back. Anchor, Spotify, all that shit. It's all in audio. Go check that shit out because I'm doing my ranting again, and me and Whitman are talking about horror movies again. Got Tales from the Podcast on Saturday nights. Sometimes I'm on there, sometimes I'm not. That's it.
All right. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, if you can't get enough Chuck Nasty, you can get your fucking Phil on several other shows, wherever you listen to your podcast. But for tonight, we are your video store clerks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'm Dave.
Yeah, man.
Chug Nasty.
Oh. Well, thank you again for joining us. We will see you next week for Hellraiser Week right here on Video Store Clerks.